Hi, I'm Susan Peterson, and you are listening to Started from the Bottom, an entrepreneur-focused podcast on getting started. Here you will find all the mindset tools and resources you need to just get started. Today, I am talking with Tanner Thompson. Tanner is an incredible entrepreneur who owns and operates the Shirt Stop. I met Tanner a year ago when I went out to lunch with him and his business partner, Derek, and we have been friends ever since. Today, we're talking about the best item on the dollar menu at McDonald's, why I don't share desserts, how betting on yourself is sometimes the dumbest and the bravest thing you can do, and how delaying gratification can help you become a smarter business owner. Here's Tanner.
So this isn't like Joe Rogan. You're going to edit the crappy parts out, my screw-ups, right?
We might.
Okay.
All right. Tanner Thompson is a Utah entrepreneur and co-founder of the brand building company Swear Studio. Tanner has built a small town print shop into something approaching an 8-figure business that rubs shoulders with some of the nation's top brands. Tanner lives in Richfield, Utah with his wife, McKenzie, and their 3 kids. Tanner, how did you get started?
In business?
Yeah.
So I was a typical Utah County, going to BYU guy that started doing summer sales. And
okay, so if our audience doesn't know what summer sales
are. Oh, I'm so
are,
sorry. Yeah.
Let's talk
I just
about
am
that.
assuming that everybody that listens to this is from Utah County. And
hopefully
that's
they're
true.
not all from Utah. I like Utah County, but I want to reach people outside of Utah
Absolutely.
County. Yeah.
So there's kind of a weird niche in Utah that there's a lot of people that return home from their Mormon missions and do door-to-door sales, like knock doors and sell like vacuum salesman kind of thing. I wasn't a vacuum salesman, but I sold alarm systems door-to-door all throughout the South, mainly Texas and Mississippi and all that kind of stuff. That industry has a tendency to, I'm kind of a hater of that industry. I don't know. Is that okay to say? Yeah.
If you, I mean, that's your experience. That's
my opinion.
Yeah,
that's
and your opinion.
And it was great for me. But that industry has a tendency to it pays really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So kids that age and 21 to, early 30s will go out and they can make a ton of money in a short period of time during the summer.
6-figure.
Yeah, you can go make $100,000, $200,000
in 3 months.
3 months. And
so if you like talking to people door to door, that is like the ideal job for you.
It's great, but it creates a bunch of 21-year-olds with way too much money, and so it breeds this really. It kind of has a really, in my opinion, a douchey culture.
Okay.
Where guys, make a good amount of money and oh, sweet, I'm going to go buy a sick boat, and the industry kind of breeds a lot of that self-aggrandizement and. Yeah, where
guys that are tall that wouldn't sit in the front seat or in the back seat, right? What you're telling me.
Anyway, I did okay at it, but I hated that industry so bad.
Did you buy a boat?
I didn't buy a boat. In fact, I think I ate nothing but McDonald's hot and spicy for the 7 years while I did that.
Okay, can we talk about hot and spicy? I love a hot and spicy.
Oh my gosh. They've raised the price on it. It used to be $1, and it finally, the last domino fell, and they've raised it to $1.29, which inflation.
Yeah, it's basically $1 still.
Are you a McDonald's hater? It's cool to hate McDonald's, which
no. Well, I've been on my
oh yeah, that's right,
mental health journey where I've had to cut out a lot of food that I can't eat, and so I hadn't had McDonald's in over a year and a half, and then 2 weeks ago. After we recorded a podcast, actually, I drove through McDonald's and ate it in my car on the way home because, and it was slightly not worth it.
Okay. What'd you get, though?
The hot and spicy and a large fry, of course. And I ate it, and then I felt so sick to my stomach because I haven't eaten it in forever. Right. I feel like you have to build up muscle memory.
An immunity.
Yeah, to really digest a hot and spicy. Yeah.
But are you you're not a McDonald's. McDonald's haters are are my least favorite kind of people. That's my wife. My wife's a McDonald's hater. I love my wife, but she's too good for McDonald's. And
I think that I love Taco Bell. I also got Taco Bell that same week because I knew I was going back on my like very restrictive. So went all out, made myself really sick. But I just think if you like it, then it can't be that bad. Like Show Croesus.
Live by that doctrine.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. If you like it, it's fine. So I was doing that, living dirt poor, making my wife live dirt poor, even though we were making really good money, rather than spend it on or a car or a truck.
Because you didn't want to buy into the culture of.
No, it was. I mean, yes and no, but like I think that's kind of how I'm wired. Whatever. Maybe we'll talk about this later. But I grew up pretty poor.
Same.
Did you?
Yeah.
So, I don't mean to be jumping around here, but I grew up pretty poor, and I think my dad made like probably around $20,000 a year when we were just going into high school. We had to move our family because we lost our house, and just I grew up like conserving everything. Like my mom would buy like Lynn Wilson burritos, and I didn't ever take like. I didn't enjoy eating the burrito, but I enjoyed knowing like, hey, there's burritos in the freezer. So I'd hide like burritos, or like if we ever got like potato chips, that was like a big deal. And so I'd like hide my portion and just never eat it. I just enjoyed actually having it more than I enjoyed actually like consuming it. And I still feel that way today. Like we go into my house and we have all the goldfish crackers you can eat. And it's like, oh my gosh, we're living at the height of luxury.
Oh my gosh, we're so rich.
Yeah, exactly. So I grew up like that. And so when I started making money, it was never about like, okay, sweet, now I can buy this sweet thing. It was like, okay, I can save up to purchase something that's going to change my life. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of always been the way that's been my mentality. And I think still is today, is make money and save and be like stingy with what you do and save it up for your next big score that's going to help you get to the next level so you can level up and level up and level up. So alarms for me, I did it for 7 years, drugged my wife all over the country and saved up to where we made a lot of money. I was going to BYU and I was in the business school, but I mean, the problem was like, gosh, well, I'm making way more money in these 3 months or 4 months of selling alarms than I would be if I finished graduating and got a job somewhere. I knew that I wanted to start a company. And so in 2013 or 2014, before I was going out to sell in Austin, Texas, I had a meeting with my cousin. She's the owner of Little Poppy Co. and Prime 11. And we were thinking, let's start a business like a flash site, like a Brickyard Buffalo or something along those lines. And so we had been kicking around some ideas. And I go out and I'm in Austin, and she calls me and she's like, hey, the shirt stop in where we're from, we grew up in Richfield, is for sale. You should buy it. And it's like a screen printing shirt making company in the small town that I grew up in. And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, I'm sure that makes no money at all. Why would I buy that? And anyways, then I ended up looking at the financials of the company, and it didn't make that great of money really at all. But I saw it as an opportunity, like, okay, well, I could actually have a company, and I believe in myself. I can sell, I can grow this thing. And it really, on paper, it was a dumb decision. I overpaid and bought this screen printing company in a town of 7,000 people, and used the money that I had been saving up for, not buying a boat, and bought this company. And I'm 25 at the time, and I show up day one, and people had been working there for 15, 20, 25 years, longer than I'd been alive. And hey, I'm 25, I'm Tanner, and I'm your boss now. And so yeah, like I said, I overpaid for the company. I remember writing a check for $100,000 for the down payment for this business and thinking, like, what in the world am I doing? But I think there's a lesson to be learned there, that it doesn't matter that you overpay. It doesn't matter that it may not be the perfect industry. I know nothing about screen printing. I know nothing about that kind of stuff, but you have to make a move. Sometimes you just have to do something. And so I did, and what the heck, it's worked out. And the company's become somehow like a success. And I guess that's how I got into this thing.
How old are you now?
I just turned 34.
That's right. I Venmo'd you.
That's right.
That's
did.
right.
That's right. I hoarded that cash.
Okay, so so that's incredible to like at 25. So 9 years ago, he bought this company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8. I had just turned, something like
8,
that.
yeah.
Something like that.
It takes 8 years to become an overnight success.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah.
Very successful.
So successful.
Okay, wait. How many kids were in your family growing up?
5.
I want to go back to your hoarding food
Mm-hmm.
because we had an experience earlier this year where we shared a dessert.
Oh, that's right.
And
A very intimate moment.
shut up. And I grew up with 5 siblings. And so I have a rule that I don't share fries or dessert because I'm afraid I'm not going to get my portion of it.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming you probably don't share dessert with many people.
Yeah. My wife grew up in a completely different situation than me. And so, like, I'll go make a sandwich at night because I'm a night eater. I eat in bed.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I eat in bed. So maybe I shouldn't be talking about this. We'll edit this out, right?
Nope. That's staying in.
So I'll make something while we're watching a show or whatever. And I'll ask her beforehand, like, do you want anything? And she's always like, no. And then she eats, all my stuff. And it's not, and she's like, why do you care? Like, why do you care that I'm eating this? And it's like something in me. It's like, whoa, I made this for me. Like, this is,
right.
I'm not a selfish person.
Right. But there's it's like a resource.
It's an evolutionary trait. Like, I think when we were all dogs eating around the kill, like, I don't know, that's still in me. I don't know.
Yeah, same. No, my brothers would always, when you'd sit down to eat, they'd call last bite. And so you had to always give them a last bite of your food.
No.
It was so annoying.
You had to honor the last bite code?
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No take backsies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last bite. I'm going to start using that.
Yeah. And so then if someone's eating something, you have to give them your last bite. So I would like whittle it down, just cut it in half and half and half and half. Okay. So what else from your childhood? We talked before we were running about how my assumption of you is that you got in a lot of scrapes when you were younger.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, I thought we said we were going to talk.
I know, but stuff. you know where I thought that thought came from?
What
was that chaotic bus trip you took your children on when your wife was in Europe?
My wife won a trip to go to France with the food nanny. She's a food influencer. My wife's like the greatest cook in town, and so she goes to France for 10 days and left me with the kids.
Yes,
and me and my friend, who his wife was always also in France, just said, we got freaking nothing to do. Let's rent an RV and just drive until the kids fall asleep and just do a giant road trip. So very little planning, just chuck the kids in an RV. And the laws, you don't have to have a kid in a seatbelt. Like, it's not, you can't get arrested for this.
The chaos that ensued on Instagram, I was so stressed that you were going to leave a kid at like the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Or Bryce Canyon, which, by the way, you should not take more than you have hands of children. You should have only taken 2 kids to either of those places.
We did like the prettiest drive, I think, that you can go on in Utah. It was unbelievable, but it was absolutely chaotic. And then we came prepared there. We brought melatonin and all the stuff. So the kids.
But still, there were kids. Tanner's driving this bus down like switchbacks, and there's kids running around the back of the bus.
Yeah.
Just
totally
chaos.
legal, by the way, mind you.
Chaos.
Totally legal.
I've never been so stressed in my life. But that led me to think, Tanner might not see danger the same way other people do.
This is another area where me and my wife are kind of like at odds a little bit, and maybe not at odds because she's the greatest mom ever. But I am a little bit of the school, like, it's okay for the kid to get lost at, the high school basketball game every once in a while. Like, it'll be fine for him. They'll
Every mom that is listening to this is so stressed.
Or, getting bonked on the head or crashing without a helmet or that kind of thing. I'm going to
get bad reviews on this one.
Why did you invite me on this? Like, honestly, who?
No, well, yeah, I mean, I think that there's something, and we're jumping around, like you said, but you grew up in Richfield. You moved back to Richfield. You love small town living.
Yeah, that's true.
You said 7,000 people.
Yeah.
I've seen on 4th of July, you put on your Instagram, you guys were just blowing stuff up in the middle of a field.
Yeah.
And there's something very, it kind of is like this throwback to like the olden days.
The way things used to be.
Yeah. Around like just let your kids kind of run rough and wild and they'll learn these hard things that they need to learn on their own. My philosophy is have a soft place for them to land and let their college roommates beat it out of them. Like all the crappy stuff that like small town living beats out of you, I'm going to allow their college roommates to beat out of them. I just
introduce it to a 2-year-old instead of
You let life beat it out of them.
Right. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. See, I think there's value in that.
Yeah. Same coin, different sides, okay. I think. I'm sure. What is the scrappiest thing you've ever done in building your business?
Gosh, I thought about this. I mean, everybody that's ever built a business has, the late nights, that kind of stuff. But to get back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier, I really think just buying off, I kind of on myself, like writing, the business didn't make that much money when I bought it, right? I think it was, I want to say $600,000 a year it was making. It was profiting, not that much. And writing out a check for, I think we paid a little over $500,000 for a business that was just not even close to worth that. But, you can get into like, oh, well, the valuation of this and that. It really just came down to, this is a place I want to live in. I need to get out of this industry that I'm in. And I know that I can do this. And I think that moment, writing that down payment check for $100,000 and cutting it out to Blaine Mickelson and saying, okay, I own your business now. I know nothing about it. Here we go. Mm-hmm. Like looking back, it's a mistake. Like that's a total mistake on paper, right? But it wasn't. It turned out to be such a great thing. And I think, well, gosh, it doesn't matter what business I don't think I would have bought at that point. I would have been faced with the same situation. Okay, I just bought a snow cone shop. Now I've got to turn this into something that's worth what I just paid for it. And, sometimes I think to myself, well, gosh, I wish I would have, instead of buying a screen printer, I should have bought an oil company or something. I get the potential to grow that would have been way bigger than what I'm doing now. But, betting on yourself. I think betting on yourself is just the scrappiest thing you can do. And this feels weird. Like I don't want to compliment myself or anything like that. But that was a scary moment, and you just make it happen. Making it happen is scrappy.
I love that. Betting on yourself. I feel like you have to go into it with like your eyes like half shut.
Yeah.
When you do that. Like how did you turn a profit? How long did it take?
So pretty quick. Like we moved fast. I thought my thinking was like, gosh, well, to go back to the story, I bought the company and I was a student here at BYU, and the guy that sold it to me, great guy. He's like, I've kind of built this thing to where it runs itself. And, that's never really accurate. Businesses don't just run themselves,
right?
But, especially when you know nothing about the business. He's like, the business runs itself, which it was great. He did a good job, and he had good employees. But for it to grow, like I would have to be in there, and I was actually a student at BYU, thinking to myself, like, okay, I'll finish my degree, and at the business school, and then when I'm done, I'll put more focus into it. And well, that just didn't work. So we're living in Springville, which is like an hour and 40 minutes away from where this company is that we just bought. So we don't even live in the same place of this, in the same town as where the company is. And so I'm going to school, and my wife was like, there's no chance on earth we're living in Richfield, just so you know that. And I'm like, well, we just bought a company there. And she's like, oh, you can commute. So we were commuting. I was commuting from Springville, which is an hour and a half there, hour and a half back, so 3-hour commute every day, and trying to do school. And eventually I just dropped out and focused on growing the business and started growing it. And it grew, and the competitive advantage we thought we had at that time was, first, we had great employees, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but great employees, and the cost of living is so much cheaper, especially at the time, so much cheaper down there, that I could be in Utah County, I could be in Provo, and poaching Wasatch Front business and then fulfilling that business in a small town where the labor is cheaper, where the land is cheaper, where everything was just cheaper. So our initial competitive advantage was we're less expensive, which is not an arena that is
like
great
the Michael
to perform
Scott paper company.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So that's how we started growing. Was we started, going after tech companies along the Wasatch Front, and then it was just cheaper to produce it down there. And yeah, where was it?
When did you open because you also have a print shop in Lehigh
yes.
too.
So now, we expanded into Lehigh. I took on a partner, when was that? Freak. Probably 5 years ago now. Took on a partner who, he was great. We since parted ways and bought him out. And then that's where we started to really expand. For a long time, we focused on tech. We produced product for a lot of tech companies. And then brands like Lonely Ghost has been such a big, they were a really, really big account for us and opened our eyes to Utah is like the mecca of influencers for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And we started getting more and more. We moved from a model where like, hey, we're the cheapest to we produce the best product. And that's what we've hung our hat on ever since, is we're the highest quality producing shop there is in Utah. And most screen printing shops are kind of like, yeah, we make stuff that you can throw out at the parade and that you can give away at the football game and that kind of stuff. We started producing for clients that it was like, oh, we're going to buy it from you, Tanner, and then we're going to sell it for $75. So it's got to be like Nordstrom quality, retail quality products. And so that's where all of our focus went. So we started, doing woven labels where we sew in inside tags and we make a product that looks polished from top to bottom. Doesn't look like you just bought it at this, screen printing shop down the street. We make retail quality apparel for brands. And so I brought up Lonely Ghost because they're like a unicorn story of someone who just said, hey, let's start an apparel company. And within months, it just, blew up. And so we had an awesome opportunity to work with them, which led to other clients and just really got our beaks wet in that high-end retail quality apparel stuff. So, and that's where we've cut our teeth and how we've really, really grown. So we do a lot less of that tech stuff and more like brands, creating actual brands for people. And it's like so much fun.
Right. You also work with Tristan.
Yeah, a million.
Actual Source.
Mom come pick me up, like whatever. I'm going to leave a bunch of people out. But
yeah,
like great brands. And it's like, it's such a feather in our cap to be able to work with talented people like that. It pushes our boundaries.
I've never heard Get My Beak Wet before.
Have you ever watched The Godfather?
No, I've always heard, I thought it was Get My Feet Wet.
No, well, dipping your beak in the Godfather is what Michael Corleone and Father Corleone say, basically like meaning we get our portion kind of. And
okay.
I don't think I used it in that.
Okay, well, it was cute. And then you said feather in your cap. So are you a birder?
No, I'm not a bird. I do use a lot of bird euphemisms, I guess.
I bet, like, give you like 3 more years. I bet you're going to start birding. I feel like your 40s are going to be full of birding.
A lot of bird watching,
yes.
like the binoculars guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, my friend Nate, he was going to Hawaii and I found like some random bird meme and I sent it to him and it said like 3 different birds. I can't even remember. And he goes, oh my gosh, those are actually on my list for this weekend. Gosh. I'm like, you're such a nerd. I could see you getting into birding.
Okay, maybe. I hunt a little bit. Again, I'm from a small town.
Let's not talk about hunting.
Let's just move on.
Cut out the hunting.
Bird hunting specifically. Yeah, just cut that out. Sorry. I forget. Who is this audience? Who are we even talking to?
We're not sure yet. It hasn't launched. You and me so far.
Great.
Yeah, it'll be your mom maybe will listen.
And PETA's Society, yeah.
And your wife.
Okay, great.
Okay, so this is a question that I only ask men.
Okay.
Because I've been asked it so many times as a female entrepreneur. So I feel like let's turn the tables. But how do you balance like homework, family life?
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking about this question. It isn't like, oh my gosh, here's the trick. It's, I just want to do that, so I do. That's a really crappy answer, but that's it's part of why we live in Richfield. Because it's more important to me to have like an awesome family life than it is to be super, super rich. If you can have both, great. But having the family life is like the whole point. So living in Richfield makes that, I think, a little bit easier because whatever, I walk to the bank, I walk to the post office, I walk to my kid's school to watch the performance on, it's easy because everything's close, but it isn't that. It's like just wanting to, like making sure that that's a priority for you, and then you do it. Like I want to be my kid's baseball coach, so I am, right? And we figure everything else out.
Your baseball coach?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the
Coach
Smokies. We went undefeated this year and won the championship.
Was it
7U baseball?
Was it Coach Pitch or no?
No, it's kid pitch.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you know much about kids baseball? It's a cult now.
No, I only know a lot about MLB.
Oh, that's right. You're an expert now. I forgot. No, my kid, he's 7. Well, he's 7, and 8-year-old baseball. Like, I played baseball as a kid, and it's great and it's awesome. But any moms or dads listening, like, know this: if you play baseball now, like, you've joined a cult. Like, you every weekend, you're gone. All your kid's 7, and it's your whole life now. So we've joined that religion as well.
Okay, what team do you guys cheer for right now? This is very important. Very important.
The Phillies.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good answer.
Not the Astros. I was pissed the Yankees lost. I'm a Yankees fan.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
You know I'm a Padres fan.
Yeah. I've heard that.
I was sad the Padres lost, but when the Padres went out, we got to go for the Phillies.
Yeah. The Astros. I hate the Astros are bad people.
I'm sure they're not now. That was 4 years ago.
No, but they still are, actually, yeah. There's a lot of people don't know that. They're still bad people.
You make stuff up all the time.
Yeah, it's a little known fact that they're actually still bad people.
Yeah. Stop.
Not a lot of people know that, so.
Stop, Tanner.
Write that down.
No. Okay, what is the hardest part about running your own business?
I don't know. Gosh, I love it. I love running my own business. I think whatever we oscillate between 50 and 60 employees, 45, 50, 60 employees. I guess that pressure a little bit that if you're blowing it, you're hurting not just yourself, you're going to hurt other people. And that pressure just gets bigger as you continue to grow. When we first started, we had, we wouldn't be here if one of my employees, Cammie, she's incredible. I just can't think of anything worse than letting those people down, people that have sacrificed for me and my family. The pressure of letting them down is scary, right? The rest of the stuff is that's life, going to work early, hard work, all that kind of stuff. That's part of being a person, but letting people down that have put it on the line for you, that scares me a little bit.
Okay. Are you good at firing?
Did someone ask you to ask me this question?
No. Oh, is this a soft spot?
I am so bad at firing. So
I think that's good.
Is it?
I don't think it's something you should get good at.
I'm terrible at it. So the first person I ever fired, I had worked there 2 months.
Okay, wait. I want to back up. I think that you can be kind in it, but I don't think that it should be something that you would look forward to. That's what I mean by not getting good at it.
I procrastinated it. So the first person I ever fired was, I'm 25 years old, and this lady is, I'd say 60. She had worked at Shirtstop for 15 years. I had worked there for 2 months. Mm-hmm. And when I first got there, the way that...
You were 10 when she started.
Literally. The way things worked was okay, someone walks through the door and orders 3 shirts. And so we take their order down, write it down on a piece of paper. Then when they leave, you take it over to the copy machine, make a copy. Then you take it over to the 3-hole puncher, 3-hole punch it, put it in a binder. It was that kind of system, right? So I said, okay, hey, we're going to go online and we're going to have a computer system. We're going to have, a workflow software. And this lady particularly just was nah, I'm not going to do that. And I'm oh my gosh, yeah. But we have to, because that's the way we do it now. She's yeah, I know you want to do a lot of changes, but I'm not going to do that. So that's cool, right? And eventually it was just we had to let her go. She just refused to do the new system. And so I call her back in. She comes to the office, and I go, hey, so anyway, gosh, you've been doing so good lately. You're great. And having a couple of problems with this and that. Literally 45 minutes into the conversation, she just stops me and goes, hold on, wait a minute. Are you firing me? And I just go, oh, well, I don't want to say firing. But 45 minutes.
Tanner.
And then she really basically made me fire her. She's anyway. So then the next person.
She made you fire. You were going to fire her.
I was going to, but she's that's what you're trying to do, right? Well, just do it if you're going to do it.
You had to have her walk you through it.
It was so embarrassing. It was so bad. So the next person, I'm telling you, I'm really bad at this.
Hold on. But let's just go. Have you gotten kinder? You don't make someone wait 45 minutes.
Well,
That's not kind.
No. That was me being kind because I was trying to. No, it's not. You're right. But I was trying to let them down so gently. It was terrible.
Yeah. It's
so,
not
but
kind.
but then so the next person I fired, I'm like, okay, geez, frick, don't do that again. And someone gave me the advice like, before their butt even hits the chair, you need to say, hey, I got to let you go.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. The person walks in, I'm like, hey, I got to let you go. And she walks out and she goes, wait a minute, you're effing firing me? And I'm like, yeah, I'm so sorry. She opens the door to all the other employees out there and goes, this guy's effing firing me. And then walks out to all the customers. I just effing got fired. He just effing fired me. So
that didn't work out either.
No. So, and this is where I'm at today.
Stop. You've gotten better.
I haven't gotten a lot better.
Okay.
I have other people do the firing now for me. If
you've hired them, you fire them. I don't. I've done one fire recently and it's not my favorite. But again, like I try to be as kind and as gentle and as,
I tried to fire Derek one time and it just didn't take. Like I'm serious.
Derek is Tanner's partner.
Yes.
What is one lesson that you learned early on in your business that is still true today?
Hire your weaknesses.
I agree.
I have so many weaknesses. And I came luckily into a position where we already had employees. I am such a disorganized person, obviously a bad firer, but I'm a really disorganized person. And so I have to make sure that I'm hiring people that are super organized and that when I sell crap and sign customers up and then I can just chuck that over to someone else that can actually make sense of it and get the ball rolling. I can close people and I can sell and I can do the things that I'm good at doing, but making sure that you hire people that can like offset your weaknesses. And that takes also being able to recognize what your weaknesses are. And I think it's a double-edged sword. I think a lot of founders specifically don't think they have weaknesses, think they can do everything because they're the secret sauce, but that you just get spread way too thin. So hiring your weaknesses is, I think, super, super important, and you're going to get a lot further, a lot faster if you do that. And then freaking optimism, just being an optimistic person, I think can carry you so far. I think it's so in vogue now to be a pessimistic person, pessimism sells, right? That's what you see on the news. That's what you see are you on Twitter?
No, I've not been on Twitter.
I'm on Twitter like too much. And it just makes the world look like a hellscape. And in actuality, the world's a freaking great place. Optimism is going to get you a lot further in life. And I think there's some statistic like 168,000 people got lifted out of poverty yesterday. That's an insane statistic. But why didn't you see that on the front page of the New York Times? Well, it's because the day before that, another 168,000 people got lifted out of poverty, and the day before that, and the day before that, and the day before that, and the day before that. Something like 90% of all extreme poverty has been eliminated in the last 75 years. I think it's been halved in the last 20 years. Like only 10% of the world lives in extreme poverty today, which is insane. The world is such a better place than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but you wouldn't know that by the way people view the world or view the country or view the workforce or the landscape. But so we have to change the way people think, and being optimistic it's like a superpower that makes it so things just happen. People are attracted to people that are optimistic, and positive things happen when you're optimistic. I think, anyways, that's a long way of saying, I think that's something that I've learned early on. Everybody hates that fake optimistic person who's like, yeah, everything's great all the time. Mm-hmm. A realistic optimist, I think, is a way to.
So someone who pays attention to Twitter.
Right.
Yeah, and knows really everything's going to be okay.
Yes. And knows you're in control of your own life, right? You're an agent that acts for itself, not to be acted upon. And you can, if there's problems, you're going to be able to fix them.
Right. And if you're at crisis level, get help. And,
yes, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. So from that lesson, what is some advice that you would give 25-year-old Tanner?
Oh gosh.
or someone just starting out?
Someone just starting out. I mean, there's a million things that I should have done differently, but someone else starting out, I would say delay gratification. I think that's a superpower. If you can, it's like the stupid burrito analogy I just gave. That if there's one thing, and I'm not good at very many things, if there's one thing I'm good at, it's delaying gratification, and I think that's an awesome way to grow a business. I think a lot of people that start making money, as soon as they start making money, they go, okay, sweet, now I can get a Tesla. Oh my gosh, okay, now I can get this boat or go vacation here and keep up with the neighbors here. Just get that crap out of your, delaying gratification will make it so that you will continue to grow. And if you can put off what you want this second for what you're going to be receiving in 10 years, you're going to just be miles and miles ahead of your competition.
In my lifetime, I've paid off 3 houses.
Oh my gosh.
And I will tell you, absolutely no house feels as good as a house that's paid off.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like no big house, no big stuff, nothing. Even a car paid off. If you've ever paid off a car, I feel the same. Like driving around a car that's paid off.
Yeah.
That's rich people.
Seriously.
Energy right there.
Totally. I think, I think the ultimate flex is just silently amassing wealth, paying for your cars in cash, and who else? It's nobody else's business, or doesn't matter. Keeping up with the Joneses culture will kill you if you really
because there's actually no end to it.
100%. There's always someone that has a sicker boat or a cooler Tesla or a nicer cabin.
Right.
Just silently amass wealth and flex to yourself. Be humble and don't let your ego ruin your financial goals, because that will happen. Buying stuff will kill you if you let it.
Yeah, for sure. What legacy are you trying to build?
Gosh, I'm a big fan of, it just goes back to me being on Twitter. I think everybody is a critic these days, and gosh, well, freaking idiot president or idiot Congress, or everyone always has someone that they can complain about, and I am a big fan of you know what? Don't worry about any of that stuff. How about first, get your house figured out, get your family really dialed in, have your kids on a great trajectory, have a really great marriage with your wife, have everything inside the walls of your house just dialed in. And if by some act of God and miracle that you're able to do that, then start looking outside your house. Look into your neighborhood or your community or the school your kids go to, and try to make a difference there. Whereas everyone else, it's become a virtue. People think of it as a virtue to complain about either whatever, the political environment, or I don't know, things bigger than themselves, and to gripe about politics and gripe about the media and gripe about all this stuff. It's just fix your own stuff first. It's not making you, you're not actually the president of the United States, so you don't get to make those decisions, but you are the president of your house. You are maybe someone that could be influential in your neighborhood. You could actually make a difference at your kid's school. So do that. So if there's a legacy that I'm trying to leave behind, which nobody's ever asked me that question, so I haven't thought about this. It's that whatever I'm trying to, my family should be my legacy, and I want that to be my legacy. And again, if I'm fortunate enough to somehow make that turn out to be a good thing, then giving back in my little town that I live in is important to me. And if, oh my gosh, by some miracle, I'm actually able to make a difference there, then great. Take the next step to try to improve your state, try to improve whatever, but don't just jump right to, the president sucks. If I was president, I'd be doing a way better job. Well, that's not helping anybody.
Got it. I love it, actually. Okay, so that leads us into our rapid fire questions.
Oh, shoot.
They're not actually rapid fire. I need to change that name. They're not any funner than the ones before. Funner. They're not more fun. Okay, how'd you meet your wife?
She was 16.
Oh, Tanner.
And I was 18.
That better be right.
That's maybe 19.
Stop. He was 18.
But then I left for a couple of years to go on a church mission and came back, and we just kept in touch the whole time. And she was was kind of there when I got back, and we dated for another year and got married.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's your best friend?
I have a lot of high school friends that I'm still really, really close to. Like, we talk every day, but it'd probably be Susan Peterson.
You hear that, Derek? That's right. Who's your favorite kid?
My kid, Tommy. Yeah, my oldest boy. That's the end. No, I love whatever. I have great kids. Tommy and Rosie, my first two kids, are just like the best kids.
How old's Tommy?
Tommy's 7.
He's the one you brought to the jazz game one time. Yeah, and then your daughter?
Rosie, she's 5.
5.
And then Charlie, he's going to be in prison someday. Like, he's a terrible, terrible child.
Okay, he was the one I was most worried about on your Great American Road Trip.
Yeah, he's a bad kid.
He's not a bad
No,
kid.
he is. He's great. I love him, but he's a like I said, he'll be in prison at some point in his
Convict or CEO.
So literally, I'm at lunch with my friends. So the perks of living in Richfield is I just go to lunch with my friends almost every day. And I'm at lunch, and my wife calls me. She's going to be pissed that I'm sharing this. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm at lunch with my friends." And she's like, "Charlie just took his actual source hat off, rolled the window down, threw it out the window on Main Street." And so I started yelling at him, like, "Charlie, no, that's naughty." And he undoes his seatbelt, starts hitting me in the face while I'm driving. Dying over here. Hitting me in the face while I'm driving. So I'm like trying to fight him off and drive the car down Main Street and pull over and get the hat. And in the meantime, I get him back in the back seat. He just undoes his chocolate milk and dumps it all over the car seat. So Tommy's my favorite kid. Yeah, he's a good boy.
Hold up. I was talking to Clint Betts about this. So you just go to lunch with your high school friends.
Yeah.
Are we going to see you guys like at the breakfast coffee shop like in 20 years? Like you guys are just going to be the old guys?
Yeah.
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 Hanging out in the corner.
But yeah.
You don't eat breakfast?
Yeah.
You intermittent fast?
I do. I mean, whatever.
You probably won't in 20 years.
You don't think?
Probably not. You got to grow a beer belly or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll work on that.
Yeah.
No, that's how you know that we're in best friend status is I try to get you to move to Richfield, and it's just like one by one, I've gotten all my friends to move back home. And so you're actually next on my list, Susan.
I probably won't.
Well, that's what they all say.
No, I probably won't.
We'll talk about it after. Yeah, you're good.
I will come down and blow stuff up with you, though.
Okay.
We have talked about that.
Anytime.
So speaking of small town living, tell me some of the scrapes you got into when you were little.
A lot of like I said, I can't talk about.
Oh, some of them you can't, because they were illegal.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess this isn't typical of a small town, but like, I burned my house down on accident when I was a kid.
Wait, hold on. That's not.
Is that a small town thing? No.
Wait. Which of your kid was pouring the chocolate milk?
Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah. So
right. But I didn't go to jail.
But wait,
he will.
No. You burnt your house down?
Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. Like, not ashes to the ground. My kitchen. We burned our kitchen down, essentially. Yeah. Yeah. So I was, gosh, I've told this story a bunch of times. So I was, 13, maybe 14. And
old enough to know better.
Yeah, for sure old enough to know better. And I was downstairs. Okay, no, I had just cooked a bunch of bacon, like a lot of bacon. And so, when there's a bunch of bacon left at the bottom of the pan, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I'll bet you could fry French fries in that amount of bacon.
Sure.
And so I cut up, potatoes, and in the meantime, letting the bacon grease heat up, I go downstairs, and I don't know if you remember on Fox 13, The Simpsons got over at 5:30, and Seinfeld started at 6, and I was a big Seinfeld guy.
Sure.
And so Seinfeld started, and I forgot that I had left the bacon grease on. And so it just, it's going. And eventually it spilled over onto the actual burner. And then I'm just downstairs watching Seinfeld 30 minutes, with
Started a
commercials. Started a grease fire. It, moved up the wall of the kitchen and then to the ceiling. And my parents weren't home. So I'm just home with my little sister. And my sister, I think, comes down and goes, "Tanner." And I come upstairs and just, the whole house is, smoke. Like you got to get below the smoke level to crawl. and I get over to where the fire is happening, and I try to like knock it off, and so I bang, the pan goes flying, but it's like bacon grease napalm, and so then the grease like flies onto the wall and catches that wall on fire, and
oh my gosh,
that's just me and my little sister home. And so then I go, and I'm an Eagle Scout, big Eagle Scout guy.
Yeah, sure. Sounds like it. You were an Eagle Scout at the time?
No, not at the time.
Did you get your burn the kitchen down merit badge after this?
I did. Yeah, I did. No, so essentially, I and I was going to pour water on it, but then my Eagle Scout training kicked in, and I remembered you can't
water on
do
a
that.
grease fire.
So then I got whatever. Anyway, I ended up putting it out. The whole kitchen was kind of charred, and my parents came home and were pissed. Yeah.
Your mom came home to a burned out kitchen.
Yeah.
She was probably like, we're going to go make some food.
Yeah,
Thinking that. No.
I don't know what she thought. She was pissed. I mean, I burned the kitchen down. But we did get a new kitchen, which it actually ended up working out, honestly. The insurance money and the whole thing, it actually ended up being a blessing in disguise. So
it was not a blessing.
It was a total blessing. Yeah. So we're all better today for it.
Oh, gosh. Okay. That's my favorite story. Okay. We're going to play Truth or Truth.
Okay. I'm not good at these games. I don't like these games. They make me feel uneasy.
This is very exciting. Okay. So there are 3 categories here. You see them. It's girl boss, gatekeep, and gaslight. Do you have any questions about those categories?
I don't think so.
Okay. You pick one.
Oh, gosh. Wait,
You pick one.
Gaslight.
When's the last time you gaslit Derek?
Today, probably.
On your way over here,
Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, that was easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, it's not hard.
Is that it? Are we doing another one?
No, that's it.
Oh, gosh. Well, that was anticlimactic. I was nervous for that one.
Yeah, I know. I like to make you really uncomfortable.
Yeah, jeez.
All right. Well, Tanner, thank you for coming on Start from the Bottom.
So much fun. Thanks for having me.